to our class this evening. I'm so glad that you are here with us. My name is Carissa, and I'm going to be teaching the class tonight. This is our Simply Wellness class, and we're just going to kind of give you an introduction to Young Living, what this company is all about, and kind of an overview of what Young Living offers to us. So I don't know where you are from or your background. When I first started using essential oils, I had absolutely no knowledge at all of what they were. They were just some kind of liquid in a bottle that did something magical for me. And I didn't know what they were. So if you're in that place and you have absolutely zero experience or knowledge, that is perfectly fine. That's where I started, and that's where many of us have started. So I'm going to share my screen with you as we get started here. So while I had never heard of essential oils, that didn't really mean that they were new. They were new to me, but they weren't new. There's actually tons of evidence of historical use of essential oils. The Egyptians were famous for using lots of different essential oils, and you can actually find recipes for essential oils in some of the Egyptian hieroglyphs. Some of the pyramids have been opened up, the tombs, and inside of the tombs they have big vats of frankincense oil that have been sealed with wax. They'll actually peel off the wax, this thousands-year-old essential oil, and the oil has been perfectly preserved in the climate, being sealed like it was, and it's in perfect condition. There are many, many biblical references to essential oils. There's actually 188 different references to essential oils. The most famous might be the frankincense and myrrh that was brought to baby Jesus at his birth. But there are many, many more references as well. Native Americans also used essential oils. They would boil the plants and they would siphon off the yellow liquid that would rise to the top, and they would use it medicinally. Romans also have records of using essential oils. So they're not really a new fad. They've been around for a really long time. They just kind of seem to have lost popularity for a period of time, and many of us didn't know about them. But now they've made a resurgence, and for many of us, they've made such a huge impact on our daily lives and on our health. So let's look at what an essential oil is. It's actually a profound plant concentrate. Some say that they are very volatile, and that doesn't mean that they're going to blow up. It just means that they evaporate very, very quickly because the molecules of essential oils are very, very small. They are natural aromatic liquids that contain the natural smell and the characteristics of the plant itself. A plant is a living being, and it has to protect itself just like we do. I see somebody else still jumping on. Hello. Plants have to protect themselves from pests, from other invaders, from bacterial infections and yeasts. And so the essential oil is what helps protect that plant. The natural constituents that are in the plants are very similar to the natural constituents in our own bodies. And so when we use essential oils on our bodies recognize those natural chemical compounds, and then your body knows what to do with it, and it can utilize it in a really beneficial way. So one thing that makes Young Living, actually the thing that makes Young Living so completely unique and different from every other company is where we get our essential oils. So all of our essential oils come from our own farms or partner farms. And the partner farms have to follow the exact same criteria that our farms have to follow. There are absolutely no chemical pesticides or herbicides used on any of our plants. They'll sometimes actually use essential oils and spray oils onto our fields for different purposes. But there are no chemicals sprayed on them, and that's extremely important because you don't want those chemicals concentrated in your essential oil. When you extract the essential oil, it's going to concentrate anything else that might have been sprayed on those fields. So we don't spray anything on our fields. And this map that we have here has some of our farms. It's kind of an old map, so we actually have a lot more farms around the world now, but this is an easy map that I could find to throw up there to kind of show you. The partner farms and the farms that we own follow the exact same guidelines. And so the process that Young Living uses is called seed to seal. You can learn a lot more about that from seedtoseal.com. This process is what sets Young Living apart. So every other essential oil company is going to buy oil in bulk off the market and bottle it. Young Living, because we own our own farms and have partner farms, we don't do that. We have control of the entire process, starting with the seed. So it's very important that the correct seed is planted in the ground. That sounds so simple, but you'll actually find that there are a lot of different plants that may smell similar to others, but aren't the true plant. Lavender, for example, there's way more lavender oil on the market than there are plants being grown. And so a lot of the lavender out there is actually a hybrid plant. It's not real, true French lavender. And it smells good to those of us with an uneducated nose, but it doesn't have the same therapeutic benefit and quality that true lavender has. So we start with the seeds that are the right seeds, and then the way that we cultivate them. As I mentioned, we are extremely careful in how these plants are cultivated. No chemicals are put on them during this process. And then distillation is the third step of this process. Distillation is very important and needs to be done very precisely. So plant matter can be distilled at a high temperature and at a high pressure, and you can extract a lot of oil very quickly from plants. The problem with doing that is that you potentially damage the very precious chemical constituents that are in those plants. If you damage those chemical constituents, you may have some kind of a liquid that smells really good, but it does absolutely nothing for you therapeutically. It has no real benefit. You can just dump it in your shampoo and it makes your shampoo smell like flowers or something, but it doesn't do anything beyond that. The distillation must be done at the correct temperature, and it must be done at the right pressure. And part of that process also is making sure that you are harvesting the plants and distilling them at the right time. So, for instance, balsam fir is a tree that we get a really great essential oil from, Idaho balsam fir. If you were to harvest Idaho balsam fir during the summer, you would get very little essential oil, and it would be very low quality, because in the summertime, that plant takes all of its essential oil and puts it down deep into its roots. It's not needed at that time. In the winter, when it gets really, really cold that far north, the plant will pull its essential oil up from the roots and put it into the plant. It acts as an antifreeze for the plant. And so if you harvest during the really, really coldest part of the season, that's when you're going to get the most essential oil and the highest quality of essential oil. So that distillation process has many components to it and needs to be done correctly. And then we test our essential oils. So we want to make sure that during this process that no one has tampered with anything. There is a particular profile for every single essential oil, and we are looking for all the chemical constituents that are supposed to be there to actually be there and be there in the right amounts. So if we use the example of lavender again, if we see like linalool is what makes lavender smell like lavender. If we test a batch of lavender and we find that there is astronomically high linalool in there, well, that is a sign that somebody has probably added some synthetic linalool to that batch to make it smell really good. Now, we don't do that with our essential oil. Other companies do. We do not, because that chemically created linalool from a lab is not really safe for you and is not therapeutically beneficial. But during this testing process is where we would see if anything like that had happened. Usually our oils are perfect and right on mark. If for some reason they are not, then that batch of oil is destroyed. If something went wrong for whatever reason, it's not bottled up. So by the time it gets to the seal, and you know the Young Living seal is on it, then you know that every step of this meticulous process has been followed, and you have a safe therapeutic grade essential oil to use in any way that you see fit. So there are multiple ways that essential oils can be extracted. Steam distillation is how most essential oils are distilled. So that's where they take the plant matter and they will put it down in these huge cookers, and then they'll run steam up through it. And then the picture that you see right here is what comes up through the plant. So on the bottom half, that grayish liquid, that's just floral water down there, hydrosol it can be called. And then above that yellow liquid, that is the essential oil. That's what floats to the top and gets siphoned off to be bottled. Sometimes essential oils will be cold pressed, and those come from the citrus plants. So the citrus oils, lemon, bergamot, grapefruit, orange, lime, these come from the rind of the plant. So if you've ever peeled an orange and something squirted you in the eye, that was actually the essential oil. It's in the peel. And so they will peel the fruit and they will cold press all of those peelings. And that's where your citrus oils come from. Because they're cold pressed, citrus oils don't last as long. All the other essential oils that are steam distilled will last indefinitely if they are kept in a cool and dark place. But the cold pressed oils have a shorter shelf life, probably they say about a year or two. And so those are ones you want to use a little bit more quickly. Resin tapping is another method that is used. There's a couple of ways that resin tapping can be done. For frankincense, they will cut little parts of the trunk to wound the tree, and the tree will then rush a resin to that wound to try to heal the tree. And that resin is collected. It's dried out. It's in these little tiny, looks like kind of like rock candy, sort of. And then they distill that. Other plants like copaiba, that one just comes straight from the tree, just like maple syrup. Have you seen a maple syrup tap from a tree? They just drill a hole and the syrup, the sap comes out, and then it's boiled down to make syrup. Copaiba is that way. It is just comes straight from the tree and then it is steam distilled. The last way that some essential oils are extracted is using something called absolute oil extraction. And so this is when you are using a very, very delicate part of the plant, like the flowers. That would be like for jasmine and neroli. These are extremely delicate. If they were to steam distill those delicate flowers, they would damage them and ruin them. You would get no essential oil from them. So instead, they will soak the flowers in an absolute, in an alcohol. Hexane is what is usually used. And so then that hexane is burned off, and then what is left is just the essential oil. Now there's some really fun facts here about essential oils. Did you know that it takes 5,000 pounds of rose petals to make 2 cups of essential oil? That's why rose is so incredible. I mean, think about the weight of a rose petal. They're very lightweight. 5,000 pounds gives you 2 cups of oil. It takes 6,000 pounds of Melissa to make 1 pound or 2 cups of Melissa oil. Melissa is very precious. It takes 27 square feet of lavender to make 1 15 milliliter bottle. So this is a 15 milliliter bottle. It takes 27 square feet of planted lavender to fill a bottle this size. And as I said, there's much more lavender out on the market than is actually being grown. You know that a good deal of that is synthetic or the wrong plant altogether. 1 drop of peppermint essential oil is the equivalent of 28 cups of tea. So essential oils are very potent and powerful. So you may look at a small, tiny bottle of oil and think, that's really expensive. But when you realize how much it takes to get that little tiny bit of oil and the power of just a single drop, you realize that they really are pretty economical. Now, there are multiple ways that we can use essential oils. They can be used aromatically, and so that just means breathing it in. That can be from direct inhalation or in a diffuser. So direct inhalation looks like this. So I just take an essential oil, I put a drop in my hand, and I just run my hand clockwise a couple of times. So I'm just trying to spread the oil around my hands. I'm not trying to get it to absorb in my hands. I'm just moving it around, and then I want to inhale it. So I would cup over my face and breathe in deeply. That is called inhalation. It's very easy. You can also just inhale straight from the bottle. When I'm having a difficult time sleeping, if I wake up in the night, I have a hard time going back to sleep sometimes. So there's an essential oil blend called Dreamcatcher that works beautifully for me. I don't even have to apply that oil on my skin. I actually just put the bottle up to my nose. I close one nostril. I breathe deeply. I go to the other nostril. I breathe deeply, and I can actually go back to sleep. It's pretty amazing that essential oils can have that kind of impact. So one little bottle of Dreamcatcher, while it is an expensive bottle of oil, it will last me for ages because I rarely actually even put it on my skin. I'm usually just inhaling it from the bottle. If you look behind me, can you see that diffuser? So I've got a diffuser going right here. So that is another way that you can use essential oils aromatically by breathing them in. So in a diffuser, you usually put a little bit of water. Sometimes they'll diffuse just straight oil, but most of them you put a little bit of water in there, you put several drops of essential oil, and just turn it on. So it has a little tiny ultrasonic plate, and it will disperse that oil into the air, and you can just go about your business and breathe it in. I love to sleep with the diffuser going. It can really help us sleep more deeply, breathe better if we're having any kind of obstruction going on. Diffusing is a really easy way to do that. And we've diffused oils for our tiny newborn babies. Actually, my last two babies that were born, we were into oils by then, and they were born into a room with thieves being diffused in the room. So their very first breaths of oxygen had thieves oil in it. Another way that you can use essential oils is topically. So that's just like you would think, you're just putting the oils directly on your body. Now, this seemed very odd to me when I first got into essential oils because I was used to Western medicine. If you need something, you take a pill, right? You swallow it, always. So putting something on my skin topically was kind of weird until someone pointed out that it's kind of like a nicotine patch. You know, if you're trying to quit smoking, you put a nicotine patch on, you're absorbing it through your skin. Or a hormone patch or cream. Again, you're absorbing it through your skin. We think of our skin as being this really strong barrier, but it's actually more like a sieve. So you can put things on it. Some large molecules may be blocked, but small molecules are going to get through our skin. And so it's a really easy way to use essential oils. We will apply essential oils down the spine. On the bottom of our feet is a great place to apply essential oils because there are many pores on the bottom of your feet and they're larger. So you can get essential oils into your bloodstream from your feet very quickly. Your feet are also not sensitive. So we can put some oils that might feel hot to our skin somewhere else on our feet. It won't bother us. So I mentioned using oils on my babies. Even when my babies were 2 weeks old, I could put 1 drop of oil on one foot and then rub their little feet together and no problem. Now, if I would have put that same oil anywhere else on their body, I would have needed to use something called a carrier. So a carrier oil is any kind of a fatty oil. Essential oils are lipid soluble, and so they need to be diluted with some kind of a fatty oil. And that can be anything you have at home, like a natural oil like coconut oil or olive oil. You may have almond oil at home. Young Living makes a blend called V6. That's a blend I really like to dilute my essential oils with. It absorbs in the skin very quickly and doesn't leave an oily film on the skin for a long time. Like olive oil will sit on the skin a little bit longer, but it still works. It still works perfectly well as a carrier. You can use essential oils internally. So Young Living has bottles that are labeled specifically for internal use. So right here I have a bottle of Thieves. If you can see, I think I'm in the little thing. There you go. Can you see it? Okay, so it says Thieves on it. So this is one of Young Living's blends of essential oils, and it's got a white label on it. Now, the white label just signifies to you that you can use this oil internally if you want to. Thieves also comes in a bottle like this. I'm gonna put it up there so you can see it. There you go. Also comes in a bottle like this that's colored. So the difference in these two bottles is just the label. The oil inside of the bottle is exactly the same. It's the same blend. The same essential oils are there. Nothing is different. But we need 2 different labels because these can be used multiple ways. The FDA creates labels for products that are for topical use. And they also create products that are for internal use. Now, most products very clearly fall into those categories. Usually if you buy lotion at the store, you know you're not going to drink the lotion. You're going to put it on your skin. So the label is for topical use. If you buy vitamin C, you're going to take that internally. Essential oils are unique in that they fall into both of those categories. And because there is no label in existence for both categories, we have to create two labels. So if you want to use your essential oils internally and you're not sure what to do, just grab the ones with the white label. But if you know that this white label one exists, but you only have this one on hand, I mean, we'll still use it the same way. I'll still diffuse Vitality Thieves essential oil because it's the same oil, but it's just letting you know how these oils can be used. So you can drop these directly in your mouth. You can put them in capsules. I really like these empty vegetable caps from Young Living. My light is so bright, you can hardly see them. Anyway, you can put these oils directly into a capsule and swallow them. You can add them into foods. There's many, many ways that you can take essential oils internally. You can use essential oils for cleaning, which is amazing. Essential oils have an amazing ability to cleanse. And so you can actually swap out some products in your home that have a lot of synthetic, nasty chemicals that you maybe want to get out of your home, and you can use essential oils for that instead. Essential oils can also be infused into other products. And so that is what Young Living has done. So the backbone of our company is essential oils, and it's branched into many, many more lines of products that we have. They're all infused with essential oils. So everything that we have has essential oils in it. And it actually can make these products cleaner, make them better for your body, and actually make them more effective than their traditional counterparts. So I'm going to turn this off now. There we go. All right, so let's take a look at some oils. Some of my favorite oils that came in my original kit. So the first oil that I started using was Panaway. Panaway is a blend of essential oils. So if you hear a name on an essential oil that's weird, like Panaway, there is no Panaway plant, there's no Panaway tree. This is a blend. And that means that there's a lot of different essential oils in there. It's all essential oil, but it's just a blend of different ones. So like wintergreen is one of the oils, helichrysum is in there, and some others. I can't remember off the top of my head. This is the first oil I use. I love to use this one topically. Anywhere I have a bit of discomfort, then I will use Panaway. You can put it on after a workout. If you have worked out really hard, your muscles are tired and stressed, then throw some Panaway on. It kind of has this similar smell and feel to like Icy Hot. Feels amazing. My husband always has a sensitive back, and he can kind of tweak it often, and Panaway is a fantastic oil for him. I used this during the recovery period after a surgery. This was an amazing oil to help me with that process. Frankincense is another oil that I love. Came in my starter kit. This one sat in my kit for a really long time because I didn't know what to do with it. The name was familiar because I knew that the wise men brought frankincense to baby Jesus, but I didn't know what else to do with it. So it sat there for ages. But let me tell you what I like this oil for. So physically, I like this oil for immune support. So I will apply a couple of drops down the spine of anyone in my family, and I'll feather it, which means like just go like this up the spine. And that will help stimulate the body's ability to create more white blood cells. You can also put it over the thymus. The thymus sits right here underneath the breastbone, and that's the gland that actually makes your white blood cells. So you can put a drop or two right here over the thymus, rub it in, and then tap 3 or 4 times like that. And what that does is kind of wake up your thymus and say, hey, I need you to do something. And combining that with the frankincense oil can help stimulate those white blood cells when you need it. Emotionally and spiritually, it's funny that essential oils can actually affect you emotionally. Awesome, Tana, or I don't know how to say your name, Tana. Thymus tapping is very interesting. It really does work. Essential oils can also affect us emotionally and spiritually, and it's because when we breathe in an essential oil, those teeny tiny little molecules go right back into the brain, and they can stimulate or calm different parts of our brain depending on what chemical constituents are in here. So frankincense can actually stimulate the part of your brain that is active during prayer and meditation. And so you can take this essential oil put some like on your temples, inhale it, breathe it in before you are going to read your Bible, before you're going to go into prayer time, before you're going to meditate, and it can heighten the effect of that time. Doesn't replace those things, but it does stimulate that part of your brain, which I think is pretty fascinating. So I pulled out my thieves a minute ago. So thieves is a funny name. I don't know if you've heard of it before. The name comes from folklore that during the bubonic plague, there were a group of men, might have been spice traders, we're not 100% sure, but they covered themselves in some kind of spices, and they could go into the homes of people who were dying or had already died, and they could steal from them, and they didn't get sick. Eventually, they were captured, and the king of the land said, I'll let you go if you'll tell me what your recipe is. How were you able to go into these homes and not get sick yourself when everybody around us is dying? So the thieves gave up their recipe and told what they had done, and then they were able to go free. I don't know if that story is actually true, but that's the folklore. And so that's where thieves comes from. And so the blend of different spices that they used are what is in here. So there's clove and eucalyptus and rosemary and cinnamon and lemon. That might be all of it. There could be another one in there. Anyway, a lot of different oils in here. I love this oil. It is incredible for the immune system. So when I used my Panaway to recover from my surgery, the next oil that I fell in love with was thieves because it was amazing for us. We put it on our feet. Because it has cinnamon and clove in it, it can feel kind of spicy on the skin, but on the feet it doesn't. Anywhere else in the body will dilute it. I diffuse this oil all of the time. It's a fantastic one. The eucalyptus in it can help clear the sinuses. Having the clove and the rosemary and all of these other oils in it help purify the air and do so much for your immune system. So let's take a look quickly over at some of the lines of products that Young Living has. So we have a ton of products now that have essential oils in them, and they can really help you clean out some products out of your home that maybe don't have fabulous ingredients that really are kind of bringing down your health. And the accumulation of multiple different products in your home that don't have great ingredients can really drag your body down. So there is an entire line of products from Thieves. So that Thieves essential oil I was showing you, there's a whole product line that has Thieves in it. Thieves cleaner is fantastic. So it took me ages to buy this cleaner because it was $20. And I thought, my word, $20 to clean my counters? That's crazy town. But I didn't know that it was a concentrate. I thought you just like sprayed it out of the bottle. But no, it's extremely concentrated. So what you do is you fill up a spray bottle of water, and then you just use like one capful of this to pour into that whole big bottle. So one bottle of Thieves cleaner lasts you forever. You can make a bottle of cleaner for like, I don't know, 65 cents or something. It's crazy when you add it all up. Now I like more than just one little capful. I don't really measure. I just fill up my bottle, 90% of the way, and then I just pour some Thieves cleaner in it. I want it strong enough that I can smell it. Even though it's totally effective with just one capful, I want to smell it. So this is what I did. When I finished a bottle of Thieves, I just put a spray cap on top of it. And so this is my diluted bottle right here. It's got the cap on it. It's diluted. And then this is what I pour into with water. I actually think we have a vegetable cleaner. I don't even use that. I just use Thieves cleaner because it's totally clean and I can do that. Young Living makes this spray. I love this spray. I used to put this in my diaper bag when my babies were tiny, and this is what I would spray off shopping carts. I would spray off high chairs in restaurants. I would spray off airplane seats, bathroom seats. When I have little ones and their hands are on everything, I wanted things to be clean, but I didn't want chemicals. I don't know if you've seen some pictures lately of kids that are sitting in shopping carts that they've disinfected with your typical cleaners, and kids are actually getting chemical burns on their little legs from sitting on it. Or if they suck on the shopping cart, they're getting chemical burns on their mouths from the disinfectants that are being used. They are really toxic. And if you can find a natural way to achieve the same end goal, then we should do it. So another super cool thing about this Thieves spray is actually safe for internal use. So if I feel a little catch in my throat, I'll just kind of spray and it'll get rid of the tickle in my throat. Young Living also makes a couple of different lozenges. So these are the Thieves lozenges. They have lozenges and cough drops. I love the hard lozenges. Again, if I have that tickle in my throat, I'm going to bed at night, I can pop one of those in my mouth and I can sleep the night through. Also helps me if I'm talking a lot, if I'm teaching, if I'm, leading something and my mouth gets dry, I can pop a lozenge in my mouth and it takes that away. There's a whole line of Thieves products. Those are just a couple of my favorites. You'll see in the Young Living catalog, there's a ton more. Young Living has a line of products they call Healthy and Fit. And so in that product line is something called Ningxia Red. So this is a juice drink that has Ningxia wolfberry puree. So the Ningxia wolfberry, you might have heard of it from the name goji berry. So it comes from the Ningxia province in China, and the people that live there consume these berries all of the time, and they live to be very, very old. They have very, very low incidence of health issues, and we found that the goji berry, the Ningxia wolfberry, actually has a ton of antioxidants. And so that's why they decided to make this amazing drink. It not only has the Ningxia wolfberry, which by the way is higher in vitamin C than oranges, but it also has a bunch of different fruit puree in there and essential oils. So the awesome thing about having essential oils in a supplement drink like this is that the essential oils are going to make the nutrients more bioavailable. So you can take in nutrients, but if they can't get into your cells, then they don't really do you any good, and you'll end up flushing them down the toilet. You need those nutrients to be able to get into your cells. Now, because essential oils have such teeny tiny molecules, they easily penetrate our cells. And the nutrients in a drink like this can actually piggyback on the back of the essential oils and get into our cells more easily. So you will find a big difference in your immune system and the way that you feel by taking in those nutrients in that way. I love Ningxia Red, and it's part of my daily regimen. I take 1 ounce every day. I really love it when I add lime and orange oil to the Ningxia Red. It tastes kind of like Skittles to me. I really like the flavor. Young Living has a whole line of supplements that are incredible. They are incredibly high quality. Young Living is absolutely obsessed with quality. And so everything that they make is, you can trust it, is high quality, and you don't have to worry about it being synthetic or being made in a lab. They're high quality. Some of my favorites, Mineral Essence is one that I take all the time. I put it in my Ningxia Red. It is a ionic mineral complex. It does not taste very good, I have to be honest. It's not one that I enjoy the flavor of, but I can tell a huge difference in the way that I feel. I actually do have more energy when I take my Mineral Essence with my Ningxia. I can tell that my nails are harder. My whole life I've had really flimsy nails, but when I take Mineral Essence, my nails will harden up. I'll sleep better at night. Mineral deficiencies will often cause poor sleep. And so just replacing those minerals can make me just sleep better. I love it. It makes a big difference. So if you cannot handle the taste of it, just put it into capsules. I did that for a couple of years. I think as my mineral levels began to come up, I started to, it started not taste so bad to me. And now I can just drink it in my Ningxia Red. Young Living also makes a vitamin D that I really love. We don't take vitamin D in the summertime because we're out in the sun so much, but it is something that we'll take in the winter. And since the fall is just around the corner, and winter and, the seasonal things that go along with that, vitamin D is something that we'll make sure that we are supplementing with. Sorry, I have kids over at my house. I don't know if you can hear them. Young Living also makes a whole line of personal care products. They make lotions, toothpaste, deodorant, kids products, kids shampoos and conditioners, soaps. All of those are incredible and highly concentrated, so a little goes a long way with all of them. Young Living has a line of mineral makeup. Just came out a couple of years ago. I use the entire line. Everything I have on my face tonight is all Savvy Minerals. It's all that I use all of the time. We also have CBD. That's the last product line I want to tell you about quickly before I wrap this up. So Young Living has the company Nature's Ultra, which is the purest CBD oil on the planet. It is amazing. So a couple of the CBD products that I love are this muscle rub. It's fantastic. It's got kind of a thicker consistency, sort of like petroleum jelly. So you can just take a little bit and just rub it wherever you need it. I don't need it right here, but I would normally rub it like on my back or something like that to help soothe tight muscles. They also have the CBD oil drops like this. And so there's a dropper inside that measures it for you. So you can decide how much CBD you'd like to use. One of my kids has a hard time going into deep sleep. She'll fall asleep quickly, but it's not ever deep sleep. And so we found that CBD oil helps tremendously with that. So I'll just give her 25 milligrams of CBD right at bedtime, and she will sleep deeply through the night. It's made a big difference for her. If CBD is something new for you, I encourage you to go research the endocannabinoid system and take a look at how CBD can help with that. There is 0 THC in Young Living's CBD, so you do not have to worry at all about that coming up on a drug test or having any kind of psychotropic effects from that. Now, if you have not ordered with Young Living, I want to tell you very quickly, there are 3 ways that you can do this. There is a good way, a better way, and a best way. A good way to do it is to just get an account set up with Young Living that is a customer account. And so a customer account just means that you order products at retail cost whenever you want to. This is a really good option if you really just want 1 or 2 oils and you really aren't going to order again. I don't know many people that actually do that, but if you are one of those people and you really just want some lavender oil and that's it, then you can do that. A better way is to become a wholesale member with Young Living. And so that just means that you set up a member account. It's kind of like a Costco membership, but you don't have to pay a yearly fee. You just get a starter kit and you're a member with Young Living. And then you get all of the products 24% off. And that's where you start to see some savings. All you have to do to keep your membership active is to order $50 a year. That's it. So it's super easy. The very best way to order with Young Living is through Essential Rewards. So Essential Rewards is the program that basically gives you a wellness box that comes in the mail to you every single month. The amazing thing about it is that you can pick what is in that box, how much you want to spend, and when you want it to come. That can change every single month. My box is never the same. It is always different. So I may be focusing on personal care products one month. The next month I'm really focusing on supplements. And then the next month I really want to get CBD. That can change all of the time. This program is kind of like Costco meets Amazon meets your cashback credit card, because you're going to also get percentage back on all of your purchases to get free product, which is my very favorite thing. So you start off with 10% back, and eventually over time it builds up to 25% back. So I get 25% back of everything that I order on Essential Rewards in free points that I then cash in for free product. So that is the very best way, the most economical way that you can order through Young Living. If you have not joined Young Living yet and you want to know how to do that, contact the person that invited you to this class tonight. That person is going to be able to help step you through the process. They'll give you their member number. They'll get kind of a referral bonus for referring you to Young Living, and they'll help you get all set up. So that is a wrap. That is the quick overview of Young Living. Does anybody have any questions while we're still here? Kim.
I just wanted to say thank you for this class. Like, I've been using Young Living for 3 years, but I learned new stuff already. So awesome. I just thank you for doing this. This is super informational, super fun.
Awesome. I'm so glad. Thank you for telling me that. I'm glad
You're
you were
welcome.
here.